Okay, so it's grade 5 theory. There's 10 units. Sorry, there's 8 units, and over 10 weeks of then the last 2 sessions we do are just kind of exam prep, going through past papers, and each one's broken into a different topic each time. Unfortunately, the first topic is rhythm, which out of all of them is probably one of the hardest. But you do need to be able to do. You need to be able to do this to be able to work through the other sections. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go through a PowerPoint presentation on how you answer the questions, and then we'll go through a few of the questions on the paper, and then between now and next time, you do the rest of the questions, and then we go over the answers, and then if anyone needs clarification or anything, then we can spend that time on there as well. So hopefully that, rather than me going through every question now, you need to have a go yourself. So let's share. Can everyone see that one? Can you see that one? My PowerPoint?
Yep.
Yeah, there we go. High floating. Get rid of all that. So function. There we go. The whole of grade 5, there's a few diagrams. If you sit the exam, then when you go into it, you can pretty much draw or write whatever you want when you go into the exam, but you can't have anything written down before you go in. And there's just a few diagrams which I would draw before you even look at the first question. The main one is the circle of fifths that I mentioned in the email. To get familiar with this circle of fifths, I'll explain what the circle of fifths is. Another one is a notation pyramid. So at a glance, you can see how many beats, say how many crotchets are in a semi-breathe, how many minims are in a semi-breathe. So you're not sat there counting hundreds of notes and working out, how many of those add up to that. You can see it pretty quickly visually. Another useful diagram is a picture of a keyboard. Even if you can play piano, it's very easy to kind of get flustered with the questions and not quite know. So to draw a picture of a piano, so you understand where the black notes are, where the sharps and flats are, and to also actually to have your alphabet written there. Because as silly as it sounds, actually to have your alphabet written down is really handy for working out the questions. So in grade 5, you have to be able to do all 4 clefs. Some of you are treble clef readers, some of you are bass clef readers. I don't think anybody plays an instrument that is alto or tenor clef. In the first section, we don't really use that, but that's another diagram. Those kind of 4 diagrams, especially the circle of fifths, the outer ring of the circle of fifths, I would just start to get familiar with. I would get used to the order, and I'll explain the circle of fifths as we go along. So the notation pyramid, so it's going through each diagram, it kind of shows at a glance, if I wanted to know how many quavers are in a semi-breathe, that pyramid will show you that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 there. Okay, so at a glance you can work out how many of a certain note is within a note. So you've got your semi-breathes worth 4 counts, and minims worth 2 each, crotchets worth 1 each, quavers worth half each, and your semi-quavers under there are quarter notes. So you can work out at a glance how many semi-quavers are in a minim, how many semi-quavers are in a semi-breathe. Circle of fifths. We're not going to really look at the middle circle for now, just the outer circle. It goes into a lot more when we talk about key signatures and scales. But the circle of fifths is pretty much all your 12 notes or keys, your chromatic notes, spaced 5 notes apart. So the distance between C and G is 5 notes. The distance between G and D is 5 notes. D to A to E, E to B, B to F sharp. And then we go around that. So that's just circle of fifths. Again, we'll look at using it in more depth as we go along, but that's a good diagram to start getting familiar with and being able to write that circle out and understand what the circle of fifths is and how it's made up. Piano notes, we said about the diagram for piano keys, just be able to draw a piano, white notes, then you have your 2 black notes, miss a note, 3 black notes, miss a note, 2 black notes, miss a note, 3 black notes. The black notes are your sharps and flats. When you step up from a note, it becomes a sharp. When you step down from a note, it becomes a flat. So this note has 2 names, a C sharp or a D flat. Okay, and the word for that is enharmonics. So the enharmonic of C sharp would be D flat. The enharmonic of F sharp would be G flat. So you need to understand the 2. So if you were to see an A sharp, know that it's actually the same note as a B flat. We'll keep coming back to these diagrams when they're more specific to the questions. The clefs, I say most people are treble clef readers or bass clef readers. You're really after where the middle C is on the clef. On the treble clef, the middle C goes through the bottom. Okay, it's also called the G clef because the symbol starts on the G line. Okay, on the alto clef, the middle C goes through the middle line, so it's also called the C clef because it goes through the middle of the symbol. The tenor clef is also called a C clef. It also goes through the middle of the symbol, but is on a different line. And then the bass clef is also called the F clef. The symbol starts on the F line there. We don't cover that too much in rhythm in the first unit, so but just these diagrams are ones that we're going to just keep bringing up so that you can get to them and you can refer to them and you can draw them, so whatever the questions are when you come up. When you're looking at notation, the idea of notation is that it's easy on the eye. You have to be able to see a piece of music, sight read it, look at it, and it has to be comfortable on your eye. So the stem of the note should be the full length of the stave. Okay, so if the note's slightly below, then it's just under. What you don't want to see is this. It's uncomfortable in the eye. Everything in music notation is written to make it as easy as possible to look at. The way notes are grouped together, the way they're written is to make it easy on your eye. Okay, so these ones would be incorrectly written. The note B through the center can be written arm up or arm down, depending whether you're coming up to the B or coming down to the B. Okay, you can also have C written the other way if you're coming up to it and it's joined, say, 2 quavers together. But generally, they have to be the length of the stave. Okay, so you might get questions about which ones are drawn correctly, but to be honest, it is a case of just what is easy to read quickly, and that's why the notation is generally written the same way. Ledger line, so when a note goes below or above the stave, we have additional lines, so we just extend the stave either above or below the stave, so that if it was just floating up well above the stave, you wouldn't really know what the note is, so we add extra ledger lines above or below so that you can work out what the note is. You don't come across these very often, but a double note, a breve, an 8-beat note. There's lots of ways to write these. All of these are different ways of writing a breve, and that's the rest for an 8-beat note. Obviously, to have an 8-beat note, you'd have to have a time signature which allowed for 8 beats in a bar. So we don't see those very often. I'm just going to check to see if anybody else has come into the room before we start the rhythm drum. I know there's quite a few people that were. function Okay, understanding what dotted notes are. So dotted notes are when you add a dot next to a value of a note, and so when you add a dot next to a note, you add on half the value of the note. So a 4-beat note becomes a 6-beat note, a 2-beat note becomes a 3-beat note, a 1-beat note becomes 1.5, half a beat note becomes 3/4 of a beat, just by adding a note on. And so dotted notes. We also get double dotted notes, where you add half the value of the note, and then you add half of the half onto the value of the note. Okay, so a 1-beat note plus a half, and then the second dot is half of the dot again. So in here, a double dotted note here would be a 4-beat note plus half, so it'll be plus the 2, and then the second dot will be adding half of whatever the dot was. Okay. Time signatures. So time signatures have got 2 numbers. There's 3 types of time signatures. Simple time, compound time, and a third one, which is irregular time. Simple time, the top number can be divided by 2. Compound time, the top number can be divided by 3, and anything left is what you're left with. Okay, so if the top number, you can divide 4 into 2, so 2, you can divide 4 by 2, so that would be simple time. You can divide 2 into 2, that's simple time. Okay, 6, 8, the top number can be divided by 3, so it would then become compound. Okay, we've got these other 2 symbols, common time, so 4, 4, and cut common, 2, 2. The number underneath tells you the length of the beat. So this bar here would be 3 minims in a bar, 3 crotchets in a bar, 3 quavers in a bar, 3 semiquavers in a bar. Okay, and we'll go into compound, simple, and irregular time signatures. I'm sure most of you understand or have come across most of this before. I'm just going over, assuming people have all play different instruments and come from different directions. So again, we've got simple time, compound time, or irregular time. If in 2/2, we've got 2 minims in a bar, so that would be duple simple time. 3/2, we've got 3 minims in a bar, that would become triple simple time. And then we've got 4, which would be quadruple simple time. Okay, if you're doing crotchets, so 2/4 would be duple, again, simple time, 3 crotchets in a bar, triple simple time, 4/4, quadruple simple time. Okay, so the value at the top can be divided by, it's divided by 2, except for if it's got 3 at the top. Okay, that's still simple time. So 3/8, 3/4 would still be simple time, because if you had, when we get to compound, I'll explain it. But this is still simple time. Okay, if we go into compound time, the top number is divisible by 3. Okay, the top number is divisible by 3. So each beat can be split into 3. So if you look at duple time in 6/8, we've got 2 dotted crotchets. Now each of those dotted crotchets can be divided by 3, so you'd have 3 quavers within those dotted crotchets. Okay, so 6/8 is 6 quavers. And because it's divisible by 3, you would group them in dotted crotchets. 6/8, okay, is 6 is divisible by 3, so we're doing 3 sets of quavers. And to draw a note that's worth 3 quavers, it would be a dotted crotchet. Okay, so even if the number at the bottom is a 4, which is a crotchet, the top number is still divisible by 3. So 6/4 would still be compound time, because 6 is divisible by 3. So this is how you group 6 crotchets in a bar, because it's divisible by 3. The top number is divisible by 3, so it's compound time. So each beat of the bar can contain 3 notes. So in 6/8 we've got 2 beats in a bar, which if you break those down, that would contain your 3 quavers. In 9/8 we've got 3 beats in a bar. 3 goes into 9, okay? 3 beats in a bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 12/8, we would group it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Quadruple compound time, triple compound time, duple compound time. Okay? Stop me at any point if anyone's not sure or not. Stop me at any point. But we were looking for whether the notes are grouped in 3s or 2s. So compound or simple time, you're dividing the top number by 3. Is it divisible by 3? Yes, then it's compound. Is it divisible? If it's not divisible by 3, is it divisible by 2? Then it's simple time. And if it's not divisible, say if it was 7/8, then it would become an irregular time signature, which we'll do in a second. Okay, so the top number divisible by 3 is compound, and if it's divisible by 2, then it's simple. And then if it's not divisible by any of those, then it becomes irregular. Okay, a regular time signature. So 5, it can be 5 crotchets in the bar. So they wouldn't be grouped in the same way that compound is. It would just be 5 crotchets in a bar, 5 quavers in a bar, 7 quavers in a bar, 7 crotchets in a bar. Okay. No, everybody all right? So if we're in simple time, but we want to divide, say, we want to divide the beat into 3, but because we're in simple time, okay, we can't divide the note into 3. There's no note value which gives you a third of a beat. Okay, so we would use triplets. Okay, we would use triplets or others that we've got here. So we would use that. You've probably seen when you have if you're in simple time and you want to split the note into thirds, then we would add a triplet in there. So the bracket with the 3 over the top. If we're in compound time and we want to split the beat in half, because each beat is worth a dotted crotchet, we would then use a duplet. So we're saying this beat of the bar, we only want it to have 2 notes in, spread over the same value. We'd put a duplet in there, so that would give you the same sound. So if this was we'll do the simple first. So if we're doing crotchets first over simple, so crotchets would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But if we wanted to split that crotchet beat into 3 notes, we would make it, so this is your pulse, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You've still got a crotchet beat, but you'd make the note each beat into a triplet. In the same way that in compound time, our dotted crotchets are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If we just want 2 notes instead of 3 over each beat, we'd make them duplet. 1 and 4, 5, 6. 1 and 4, 5, 6. 1 2, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. And that's how we get that effect with using a duplet. So we wouldn't need to use a duplet in simple time because the notes, you can divide a beat in half in simple time, okay? Because they're made up of single crotchets. If we wanted to make this into thirds, there's no note value of a third. So that's when we would use triplets. So a triplet can be used in simple time, but duplets would be used in compound time. It'll probably make more sense when we start doing some of the questions. You can also...
Andy, can I just ask something? So
Yeah.
the 6/8 time signature, that's obviously the 6 is divisible both by 2 and 3.
Yeah, so it would be the 3 first. So divide it by 3 first, and then if it can't be divided by 3, then can it be divided by 2? If it's divisible by 2, then it's simple. So check the 3 first.
So 6/8 is not simple time.
No, it's always compound time. Yeah.
Always compound.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. check the 3 first. Is it? Can you divide each beat into 3? If you can't, then can you divide it into 2? If you still can't, then it would be irregular.
Right.
So simple time is in 2. Compound time would be in 3. We check the 3 first. Yes, obviously you can divide that into 2 as well, but you would check the 3 first. We'll make it compound time. And then we've got quintuplets where there's no note value, which will give you a fifth of a note. So then we use quintuplets. So this number 5 over the top is saying, I want this beat split into 5 notes. So we would put the number 5 over the top. And the same with sextuplets. I want this beat split into 6 beats. There's no note value for dividing the note into 6, so you would use a sextuplet over the top.
Is that in simple and compound time?
Yeah, well, you would only really get this you would only really get this 5 in a regular time signature, or
right.
Because you could get it in simple time, because you're in effect having 5 quavers spread over the value of 4. Because 6 in sextuplets, because you can group that in 3, so you would get that in compound time as well. But you wouldn't need to have the 6 there because you're already grouped in 3, so it would you wouldn't get that in compound time, because it would just be the same as doing this semiquavers, because you're already grouped in 3, so da 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 da, rather than because that's divisible by 3 for the sextuplets, whereas the 5 you would, I mean, you can in some probably abstract, you wouldn't need to, you won't come across that for unless you're playing some rather abstract pieces. But you're pretty much, whatever the number is above, you're dividing whatever the beat is. So you could get it in simple time, you could get it in compound time, because whatever the beat is, they want that beat divided into a fifth of that beat. So whether it be a crotchet here, they might want this one divided into 5. Whether it's this one, they might want that length divided into 5. You could have that in either. You'd be very pushed to find it, especially you wouldn't see that as a question in grade 5, but in principle, yes, you can take a beat and divide it by however many you want by putting a bracket over the top and a number. But really, this is really to explain that if you see the number above, then you have to evenly break down the beat that it's on into that number of notes. So 5 so into a beat, or 6 into a beat. It's really a symbol to say, well, there's no note value for it, so you need to spread this number of notes over this beat. So whether it's quintuplets or sextuplets, you can't get a fifth note. There's no note value for fifth, so you could have it in compound or simple time, but you'll be very pushed to see. It's more that you can add up the value. So the questions you'll get is if you see a quintuplet, and it'll be like, how complete the rest of this bar, how many rests do you need to make it into a complete bar? You just need to know that a quintuplet, 5 quaver quintuplets, is the same value as 4 normal quavers, in the same way that 6 sextuplets, semiquavers, is the same as 4, same length, but you're just spreading the 6 evenly over the same amount of time as the 4. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Everyone, yeah. For the purpose of grade 5 theory, you're taking a beat and you're evenly spreading those notes over the value of the beat that you're looking at. Playing wise, it's a lot harder. You have to work out how to evenly play those notes over that duration. Beaming. So beaming is joining notes together. Like when we said before about how you draw notes, it's about how to visually look at a piece of music and understand where every beat of the bar is at any time, so you can sight read. So you can look at it and be right, well, I know that rhythm, I know that's on beat 3, I can see that's on beat 3 without having to count from the beginning and be like 1, 2, 3, and finding all the beats. You should be able to visually see where every beat of the bar is by how the notes are written and joined together. On these time signatures, I put where the strong beats and the weak beats are. Probably going to go on to the next one. So beaming, when you beam notes, beaming is just like joining notes together. If you had a whole bar of I don't know, 16 semiquavers with no connection and they were just individual, you'd be hard pressed to, you just get lost and you run out of counting. But if you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, you can know where you are in the bar. So this is why we beam them together. You can't. So there's a few rules to beaming. You can't beam across a bar line. So the notes have to stay within the bar. Okay, the notes stay within the bar. You can't beam across the center of a bar. So you can see here the center of the bar is here. You wouldn't have that go across. So instantly, I can tell you where beat 2 of this bar is by how these notes are beamed. I don't have to count from the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, that's beat 2 because of how they're beamed together. Okay, so the idea of beaming notes together is to make it very clear visually straight away where beat 1 is, where beat 2 is, where the quavers of that bar is 1 and 2, and I can tell you where the quavers are. Where we've got these demi-semis, I can tell you where the second half of the first beat is. I can tell you where the second half of the second beat is. It's for making it easy to look at. And you will get lots of questions on that and whether the things are beamed together correctly under the section. Full semiquavers. So yeah, there's a few rules here. So in time signature, where the crotchet gets a beat. So if that's 2/4, a maximum of 4 semiquavers can be grouped together. If a dotted crotchet note gets a beat, a maximum of 6. So yeah, so if it's when it says crotchet gets the beat, that would be in simple time, and if a dotted crotchet would be compound time. So maximum of 6 semiquavers for compound time, and maximum of 4 semiquavers for simple time. You do need to know about demi-semiquavers, which if you work down from the pyramid, you've got quavers. Semiquavers is half a quaver, and demi-semis are half of a semiquaver. You can tell what they are by the number of lines. One single line, everyone should be okay with it being a quaver. half of that again will be the second line, will be semiquavers, and then demi-semi will be your 3 lines. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Sometimes you have to convert simple to compound. So going from where the beat is divisible by 2 to where the beat is divisible by 3. Okay, so if you imagine this is your simple duple time, because there's 2 beats in a bar. In 6/8, this is duple compound time, because there's 2 beats in a bar. There's 2 sets of 3. Okay, so we've got 1 crotchet, 1 crotchet. It's the same as 2 quavers, 2 quavers. In compound time, we've got 1 whole beat, because that's your 3, and then another whole beat. So these 2 bars would sound exactly the same. If it was in 2/4, we would have da, 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 da. If it was in 6/8, it would sound da, 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 da. Okay, does that make sense? Looking at the second one, we're in triple simple time. This one here would be da, 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 da. In 9/8, which is, so this is triple compound time, da, da. So this will contain the first 2 beats of the bar, and this will be the 3rd beat of the bar. This dotted minim here will be the first 2 beats of the bar, because each beat is divisible by 3, and then this will be the 3rd beat of the bar. We spoke before about triplets and duplets. So in this bar, we've got beat 1, beat 2, but on the 3rd beat, they want to divide that beat into thirds. There is no note value which gives you a third. There is no note value. So then we would use the triplet to make that into thirds. And then the 4th beat is a crotchet. So if we take that again over to compound time, the first beat of the bar, okay, it will look like that. It's a dotted crotchet, because we're in quadruple compound time. So there's 4 sets of 3 in the bar. 4 sets of 3. This will be your first set of 3. In the second beat, your second set of 3, they want the note to be spread over 2 notes. So we want the beat to be split in half, not into 3, because it's naturally split into 3 because we're in compound time. So we'd use a duplet there to make the 2 notes even over that beat. In the 3rd beat, there's no need to put a triplet, because in compound time, every beat is divided into 3. Okay, so this will be your first beat, this will be your second beat, and because they want it evenly to have to be split over 2 notes, we make it a duplet. The 3rd beat, we can make it divide it into 3, because in compound time, every beat is divided by 3. And then the last one is a dotted crotchet, which is the whole of the fourth beat in compound time. Okay, so this will be beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, and beat 4. Any questions on going between the 2? So the beat in simple time can't be divided into 3. There's no note value, so we make that a triplet. But in compound time, every beat is divisible by 3. So we don't need to make that a triplet. In simple time, we want that beat divided by 2, which we can do because there is a quaver, which is half of a crotchet. But in compound time, this beat is normally 3 quavers. There's no note value which will make that 2 even notes. So we have to use a duplet there to say, over the space of 3 quavers, you need to evenly play just 2. Okay. Right, that's pitch. Okay, so that's the context of the questions that you're going to have to go through for rhythm. So we're going to pull up the questions that you've got for the first one. So if you've got, we're not going to go through every single one because I want you to do them. Is that, before I come out of there, is there anything in rhythm that we're not? Should we see if we can apply it first, and then maybe if we need to come back? Okay. So this should be the questions that you've got so far. This should be the questions that you've got for rhythm part one. You need to understand simple time, compound time, and grouping in irregular time signatures, quintuplets and sextuplets. So if we look at exercise 1, tick or cross each box to show whether each bar has been correctly or incorrectly rewritten in compound time. So let's take the first one. Let's examine this. This is 3 crotchets in the bar. We know that these are all simple. We know that these are all compound. So beat 1 takes up the whole beat. So if we move it over to here, beat 1 takes up the whole beat because we're in 9/8. So we should have three sets of 3 quavers here. So the first set of 3 takes up the whole beat. We look at the second beat in simple time. We've got 1, 2, 3, but because it's in simple time, they've made it as a triplet to spread 3 notes over the whole beat. We move to compound time. We've got 3 notes spread over the whole beat, which we can do in compound time because each beat is divisible by 3. And if we go to the third beat, that's taken up the whole crotchet. And if we go to compound time, that's taken up the last 3. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So your 3 groups would be, beat 1 would be 1, 2, 3, beat 2 would be 4, 5, 6, and then beat 3 would be 7, 8, 9. Okay, so hopefully you can see that has been correctly rewritten. All right. So let's do another one. Let's do a hard one. Let's do D. Let's do D. So we've got 4 beats in the bar. Again, some people don't necessarily read bass clef, but to be honest, that's not what the question is. You're looking at the value of the notes at the moment and the length of the notes. So if we look at this, let's break this bar down here. So we look at 4 beats in a bar. The first beat, that's fine, so that's just divided by 2. Okay, so we move over here. The first beat has been given a duplet, so it's saying the whole beat is divided by 2. We want to split 2 notes over the whole beat, so that's allowed, that's fine. That would sound exactly the same. Let's look at the second beat. So your first beat, the second beat is a crotchet over here. The second beat here is a dotted crotchet, which is this will be your 1, 2, 3. This will be your 4, 5, 6. So this will be the whole of beat 2. This is the whole of beat 2. So that's allowed. Go to beat 3. We've got a triplet. So we're spreading 3 quavers over one beat. 1, 2, 3. So 3 quavers, because they're triplets, they spread that over the whole beat. So if we go to here, because we're in 12/8, this will be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that also is allowed because it's within compound. Okay, so we've got 2 quavers there and your third quaver. So this is your third beat made up of 3 quavers. 1, 2, 3. And then your last beat will be, here we go, beat 4. There's just 2 quavers, so the beat is split in half. Well, it's a so beat 4 here is 3 quavers, but because they made it a duplet, that would allow 2 beats to be split evenly over the beat of 3. Okay, that's quite a hard one. So the answer to that one is correct. So that has been rewritten correctly. that's probably the hardest one of those sections. Is there anything in there that people don't get? Do you want me to go back over it again? You just so if you look at the number of beats in a bar, 4 beats in a bar. So then just take your first beat. What have they done to the first beat? They split it in half. Right. Let's take the first beat here. What have they done to the first beat here? They split it evenly in half using a duplet. Let's go to the second beat. It's just a crotchet, a 1-beat note. Let's go to the second beat. What have we done here? Your 4, 5, 6. So it's the second beat of the bar. Go to the third beat. We've got a note, a beat split into 3. This is a triplet. What have we got here? Because it's already split into 3, we've got 3 there. So that's allowed. The fourth beat, 2 even notes. Go to the fourth beat. It's a duplet, so the beat has been split in half evenly. All right.
You never see a triplet written like that, though, do you?
Yeah, you could do it quite often.
You?
Yeah.
I've only ever seen it written as quavers.
Yeah, whether you'd have 3 quavers. I mean,
Yeah.
you could have 2 quavers tied together and then the third one separately, but that again, that's not easy on the eye. That's much cleaner way to put it because you know that one crotchet has got 2 quavers in it. So to split that crotchet beat into 3 quavers, I guess you could put 2 quavers tied together. But again, that's making it harder on the eye. But yeah, they've divided beat 3 there into triplets, which is the same as 3 quavers. But then this beat here is already 3 quavers as a triplet because every beat in compound time is divisible by 3. Yeah. Okay. So here they've in the exam you'll get 1 question. So on each of these things, you won't get pages of the same thing, but this is just these are exercises to go through so you really understand the difference between the two, so compound and simple time. So we'll do exercise 2. Let's do the first one. So tick 1 box for each question to show whether the bar has been correctly rewritten. So we've got 9/8, so that's triple compound time. So there should be 3 sets of 3 in this bar. So beat 1 would be the first. There we go. You've got a quaver rest, and a quaver. So that's your first beat. Next beat would be that's the same as 2 quavers and another quaver. So that's beat 2. And then your last beat would be there's 3 quavers in there. So that's your beat 3. So then you go down and analyze each of these to see how to work out which one would sound the same. So beat 1 is divided by 3. So beat 1 is divided by 3 there. Beat 2 is a crotchet, which is the same as 2 quavers and a third quaver. So this can't be right. This beat, okay, if you think it's 2/3 and a third in that rhythm over that beat, this is only just 2 quavers. This isn't. That's not going to be correct. Okay. If you look at the second one, so the first beat again, we wanted the first beat split over, so 3 over the beat. So this is the first beat is split with 3 over the beat. The next beat is these 2 notes. Okay, again 3 quavers there, split over the second beat. We've got a triplet there, so that's 3 quavers split over the second beat, and the last one takes up the entire beat, and that one there takes up the entire beat. So that would be correct, that one. And you can see that that one's really not going to be correct because that first beat makes no resemblance to that rhythm there, where the whole beat is divided by 3. But this first whole beat is a quaver and a semiquaver and a semiquaver. That's not the same. Okay, so work out where your 3 beats are. If there's 9, 8, there's going to be 3 sets of 3 in that bar. That'll be your 1, that will be your 2, and then that will be your 3. All right? And by that, then you can eliminate the ones that are really not. That's not going to give you, that's 2 beats split evenly. But that's not split evenly. All right? So let's move down to the next question. Irregular time signature. So on irregular time signatures, it's a case of adding. We just need to add them up. So the first one, we'll just do the first one. 2 quavers equals 1 beat. That's written above. 3 quarters of a beat and a quarter. That's another beat. Beat 3. Beat 4. 2 semis. So that's your quaver plus 2 quarters. So that gives you another beat, and then you've got 5 there in the end. So with a regular, you're not trying to work it. Is it divisible by 3 or divisible by 2? You're just adding them up, and it should come to a whole number on all of them. Okay, so for irregular beats, it's just adding semiquavers. These are all quarters, a crotchet, and you can add those up. The case of just adding. I'm going to do breathing now. Okay, 5, 4 and 7, 4, or sorry, 5 anything and 7 anything can be grouped in 3 plus 2 plus 2, or we said before about it being across the middle of the bar. There's you may not, well, you'll get one question on this, but it's understanding you can group it in different ways. A 5 beats in a bar can be grouped 3, 2. Or it can be grouped 2, 3. It can change within the piece. It doesn't always have to be consistently that way. Maybe the phrase is different. And then if you're doing 7, it can be grouped in 3 and 4, or 4 and 3. But the same principles are right, that you wouldn't go across a bar line. You'd never beam across a bar line. And if the notes are beamed, they should be beamed either in a 3 and a 4, or a 4 and a 3, or a 3 and a 2. They wouldn't ever be beamed a 1 and a 4. It would always be a 3 and a 2, or a 2 and a 3, or a 3 and a 4 and a 4 and a 3. You would never have 1 and 4 in 5, 4 or 5, 8. Yeah. Study this melody and circle true or false for each statement. I'm not going to tell the answers. These bars 1 and 3 are divided into 3 plus 4. Every bar is divided in the same groups of beats. Okay, I'm not gonna tell the answers though. You should be able, you could work those out. Everyone's happy with, yeah, so counting crotchets, so you're counting if the bar contains 7 crotchets. Bars 1 and 3 are divided into 3 and 4, so are the notes beamed in 3 beats and 4 beats, or not? Every bar is divided into the same groups of beats, and you can see whether they are or not. Some are 3, some are 4. Yeah, I'll let you work out that one. Add the missing bar lines. So this is a counting exercise. So we do number A, 5 crotchet beats in a bar. Okay, 5 crotchet beats in a bar. So exercise 5. Yeah. So five beats in a bar. So we should be able to do the counting. So 1, 2. That beat is divided by 3, so that's your 3rd beat. 4, 5, and your bar line will be drawn in there. Are there any weird ones? So where we've got to go into the irregular times, you're just counting the quavers. So there's 7 quavers. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bar line. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 semiquavers. So that'll be your 5, 6, 7 bar line. It's a counting exercise. Just make sure you read whether it's crotchets or quavers in the bottom for that one. Exercise 6. Tick 1 box for each question to show which bar is grouped correctly. So going back to what we were talking before about not grouping across bar lines and not grouping across the middle of the bar. Okay, and are the notes being together in their beats, in beats. So if we look at one that's not going to give it away. Let's look at the second one. Let's look at A. We can see, so are these grouped in beats? If you look at here, this is beat 1, so that's okay. Quaver, 2 semiquavers, and we've got a dotted quaver on its own. So really that one should be joined to that one to make it into the second beat. Okay, and then the third beat would be semiquaver, quaver, semiquaver. So that would be then being together to make it into a beat. If you look at this second bar, half plus 2 quarters, that equals 1 beat. 3 quarters plus a quarter, that equals a beat. Quarter plus a quarter plus a half, okay, that gives you another beat. And then the crotchet at the end gives you another beat. Okay, so they're being together in beats. So that one will be correct. Second one of A. If you look at the last one, that half, 2 semiquavers. If you look at 3 quarters and a quarter, that would then normally be one beamed beat there, and then we would have these 3 notes being together, and then the last one being together. You wouldn't beam half a beat into another beat. Yeah, they're not beamed together in beats, so that would be incorrect. That one. On A, it would be that one, but they're all individual beats beamed together. So when I say beamed, I mean joined together. They're joined together in their individual beats. All right. Tick or cross each box to show whether rests are correct or incorrect. So this is a counting exercise. Again, same as exercise 5. 6, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 semiquavers. 1, 2, 3 quavers there. 4, 5, 6. So that would be correct. That adds up to 6, 8. Okay. In the second bar, we've got 2 quavers, which is the same because it's a duplet. That's the same as your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that adds up. All right, and then 1, 2, so that's 1 quaver, 2 quavers, 3 quavers, 4 quavers, 5 quavers, 6 quavers. Okay, so that each bar would have the right amount of rest in there.
Could you just do the second one again?
Yeah, this one here.
Yeah.
Second bar. Yeah. So this we're in 6, 8. Yeah. These first notes are saying, because it's a duplet, they're saying we want the 3 beats, the 3 quavers. Well, sorry, we want 2 quavers split over the whole first beat. So this in effect would be the same as your 3 quavers.
Yeah.
With 2 notes spread over. So this will be your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Where's the 6?
So these 2 notes here will last the same value as 3 quavers, 3 compound quavers. Because the duplet.
3 compound quavers.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, because each beat is worth 3.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
2, 3, 4. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so just so in compound time, where it's a duplet, it's saying we want two notes spread over the same value as 3. So that would give you enough beat. That would give you enough beats in that bar. All right. So adding those quintuplets and sextuplets. So I mean the art pretty much, well, the key to adding them up is written above here. So to know what equals. So if we're B, letter B here, we've got 2 quavers, which would equal 1 beat, and it says here 5 would equal the same as 4 or a crotchet. So it'll be a 1 beat, 2 beat, 3 beat. So the answer there would be 3, 4. The key to working out your quintuplets and septuplets is there. It's back on the slides as well, but the answers are there as well for working them out. Exercise 9, add the missing bar lines. Again, this is a counting exercise. Just be careful what you're counting. Are you counting in compound time? Or actually, they're all in simple time, so actually that's not too bad. So you're counting in this bar 3 quavers in that bar. So this will be 1 quaver, 2 quavers. 3, 4, you're counting 3 crotchets in the bar, so that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, and then bar line. It's counting. It's drawing the line there. So you're looking at what the 2 numbers are, and then counting on notes as you go along. Exercise 10. So this is in 5/4. There are, so the bottom number is originally when we went through the slides. Remember, it was the 4 would equal crotchets, 8 would equal quavers, semiquavers, quavers, minims, and you have to do the maths there. So you know that 5. There are in 5/4 there are something crotchet beats in a bar. So yeah, you can. That's a maths question. In 7/8 there are 7 beats in a bar. Dotted quaver beats, I'll let you work them out. So dotted quavers, you can work those out. Here we go. What's the last one? Circle the correct time signature of these bars. So you've got to count them and then eliminate the ones that it can't be. So watch out for duplets and triplets. Okay, you kind of can see how they're beamed together. Things that will make you think, okay, that's got to be simple time. Will be if it's got a triplet symbol. It's going to be in compound time if it's got a duplet symbol. So things that will kind of stand out straight away. If you look at let's do D. So this would be a duplet. So already I'm thinking compound time. They're splitting 2 notes over the value of 3 quavers. Okay, so that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The answer would be 6, 8. So the duplet is asking for 2 notes to be spread over the same value as 3 in that one. Okay, so you can eliminate just by, if you see the triplet or duplet, you can be, that can't be compound time because we're spreading 2 notes over 3. So that's got to be in compound time. That's got to be in compound time. The notes in this one are beamed together in crotchet beats. There's a crotchet beat there, so it's probably going to be in simple time. You've got to go through and add it all up, but just by looking how notes are beamed together, this bar here, there's a quaver, so how they're beamed together there kind of shows you straight away. We've got triplets here, triplet on that, semiquaver triplets. So again, that's going to be in some kind of simple time or irregular time. That's not going to be in compound time because they're dividing a beat into 3 in simple time. I feel I'm happy to go through any of the questions and go through the answers, but I think kind of it'd be better if what I find the easiest is that everyone will have a go and we'll all get different things wrong next week, and then we can all and I can explain why they're wrong, and then that helps kind of they're going down the right path or not. If you want to leave like 1 or 2 questions in each section where you don't do it, and then do it next week after we've gone through the answers, that's also quite a good way just to make sure that yes, I did understand it and I did get all the other ones right. And then we can come, then you can go back over those last 1 or 2 that you don't do to make sure that you understood it. Is there anything in rhythm that we're not sure about? Anybody?
I think it's quite hard rhythm.
It is. It is the hardest section by far. It's the hard, but you can't do the other sections unless you understand the rhythm. Unless you understand the rhythm section, I promise you, don't be put off by how complicated this one section is. Because after the others are much more. There's one principle on all the other subjects, and then you just apply that to the whole question. But the rhythm, it kind of the rest of the topics rely on you having an understanding of the rhythm of this section. So I say it might be worth just leaving 1 or 2 of the questions in each section and don't do it. And if you find next week you got everything right, then obviously you understood it. Or if you're getting things wrong, and then you can then have a go at that one that you left out after we've gone over them, and see if you understand it then. But yeah, if there's any questions, you want to clarify any of them, no? That's very good. Okay. Fab.
So you'll send out the recording, Andy?
Yeah, I'm going to send it out.
If we can't make a week, we can just look at the recording.
Yeah. There's quite a few people that weren't here this evening, so yeah, I knew they weren't. So yeah, I'll send out the recording. And I'll do that in the next 10-15 minutes. It'll go into the WhatsApp group, and then you can review it. But feel free to throw things into the WhatsApp group that you don't get one question. Like if you want me to clarify one of the questions, absolutely, I can go over any of them.
Right.
The good thing is that you will use this in every unit going forward. It's not you do it and then you forget it. You kind of, as you go along, they do it in this order for a reason, that every unit then kind of helps you with the next one as well. So it's worth getting the correct. But yeah, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good week. I'll see you next week.
Thank you. See you next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Right.